Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. There is a brand new system here in Modern Warfare 2, and if we go ahead and we look at the Gunsmith, it's pretty apparent pretty quickly. It is known as the receiver system, and it just so happens the second that I open this M4 setup, we are already on this selected receiver. And of course, this is something that is basically going to be available on a bunch of different weapons in the game. Not necessarily every single gun, because this actually has to do with the family tree mechanic, which we'd see via the progression tab. You can see our base weapon here is just the M4. Very familiar weapon here in Call of Duty, right? But related to this M4, we've got various different builds available. We've got the FTAC Recon, which is like a DMR battle rifle single fire weapon. Very strong. It's an M4 variant though. You also have the Icarus, which is an LMG version of the M4, obviously much bigger magazine, way heavier. LMG properties. You've got the M16, which still technically classifies as an assault rifle. It's just a burst version of the M4. Then you also have the FSS Hurricane, which is an SMG version again of the M4. Every single one of these weapons shares a few select properties, and the receiver system here seems to be confusing a lot of players indirectly. I think it's very apparent that yes, all of these weapons are related, but earlier on last week, we broke down some setups that I was really enjoying in the beta so far. We'll probably do more of the same for the second weekend in the beta once we gain access to new weapons as well. But as I was going through, you guys can see right now, I've got this crazy like sort of SMG M4 setup, but it's the rifle version. I don't know, I was messing around with stuff, but when I was going through my attachments here, you see I have a ton of different barrels unlocked. I also have several different muzzles unlocked, although some are still classified unlocked. That's because these are ultimately a part of the full game. I also have several different underbarrels, actually one right now in this specific build, but other ones that are able to be used if I was using different attachments here. Various different ammo options, but again, not all of them. And a lot of players are saying, Zach, what exactly is going on with your setups? Why do you have all of these attachments, whereas I only have one muzzle here, or I only have, you know, one optic available? You guys can see I've got several different ones here. Now, there's a few different reasons behind this, mainly because it has to do with the receivers. Now, for what it's worth, I did pre-order the Vault Edition on PlayStation so that I could actually take advantage of seeing what these Weapon Vault weapons were like, with all these different attachments available, where I can go in and actually equip a skin. Let's say, for instance, on the Lone Wolf Optic, I can throw on the Cinder skin, which looks a little bit different. Or if I throw on a certain barrel here, the Shroud barrel, let's say, I've got this different looking, you know, sort of red carbon skin. Looks cool. It is what it is. Getting these different weapon vaults allows you to have all these attachments. But what about those that didn't want that edition or don't have that edition? They don't care for that. Well, that's where the receivers come into play. Something that you'll notice again is when I have all these different attachments available, you might not see that you have the exact same ones. Why is that? I got a lot of comments saying, Zach, I leveled up my M4 to the max level, which currently you guys can see in the top left there, 19 out of 20. Why do I only have certain limited attachments? Well, while this is a new refined attachment unlock system here with MW2, it doesn't mean that leveling one gun completes the entire weapon class or family tree grind for you. As you can see, when we go into our progression tab and we look at the track here, this is what you end up unlocking by using the M4. You get the reflex, you get a muzzle suppressor here, you get a barrel, a magazine, an underbarrel, a stock, a rear grip, some ammo, and then it sort of repeats itself. Another new barrel, another stock, another laser, receiver. That's an important one. It ends up giving you a second alternative receiver option. You get another stock, another barrel, another rear grip, another magazine, another receiver, and another stock at 19/20 technically. So just by maxing out the M4, and of course the levels are going to be different come the full game. It might be 40, 50, 60 depending on any given gun, but when you level up through here, you only get these specific attachments, which obviously is limited. As we saw, I have way more barrels available than just what's on this M4 version, right? So that's where the family tree comes into play. We just saw the M4 tree. Obviously it has these attachments, but you can see here the first attachment we get is an optic. It's a reflex sight. If we were to go up to the Icarus though, you'll see these attachments are different. Now, these are still shared between the weapon family tree, and some of these attachments are universal for every single gun in the game. It just depends on what exactly they are. But the first unlock here is going to end up being an underbarrel, and then you get a new muzzle. Now, unfortunately, it seems like the names are glitched, but hey, it's a beta. You know, what can you say? You also get various other stocks, though. You get different magazines. And so you can see that when we go up to the M16 here, a muzzle's the first unlock, and then a different barrel, and then different magazines, different optics yet again. So While this grind is a lot easier for attachments in general because of the ability to have shared attachments in these weapon family trees and also universal attachments, that doesn't mean that you're only going to have to put in, you know, a sixth of the work for a weapon class that has 6 weapons, a fifth of the work for a weapon class that has 5 weapons. These receivers are how you essentially max a weapon. You're just doing it with multiple different versions of the gun. Also, I do want to mention, as we are going through all this, if you guys are new to the channel, obviously this gunsmith system is very different from what we've seen before, especially with the unlocks here. Once we get to the full game and everything, and also in the coming months as we learn more about the game itself, I'm going to be breaking all this down in full detail so you guys know exactly what you're doing in game. There is no confusion. So if you want to stay up to date with all that stuff, be sure to subscribe with those post notifications turned on. We are on the road to 1 million subscribers. Also, if this video helps you out, let me know by dropping a like on it. But anyways, as I was saying, these family tree icons, essentially everything that's included here, the M4, the Icarus, the M16, the FTAC Recon, the Hurricane. Obviously, this is just a specific example for the M4. It'll change based on other full family trees in the full game. But every single one of these weapons, you'd want to level out to whatever the max is to actually get every single attachment, which is exactly what I've done here. And that's why I have all these different options available. If I were to have just gone in and max leveled the M4 and maybe the Hurricane, I would only have a select few barrels. I'd only have a select few magazines or grips or rear grips, whatever the case may be. So yes, I can use an M4, get it to level 19, and when I go and throw on the Hurricane right away, I'll have, you know, maybe this barrel that I can use right away at level 1, this magazine, this optic. But if I want to expand past that, I'd have to maybe level up the Recon as well to get a certain barrel, or the M16 as well to get a certain stock that would work well, right? So hopefully this helps explain it a little bit more in depth and a little bit more in detail. It seemed like the common theme in my class subs video was, how did you get that attachment, or what happens when I have my M4 maxed out and I only have this many optics or this many magazines or muzzles, whatever it was. You'd still have to level up all these other guns. It's just not going to take you as long to do so, and you're going to get more early on into a weapon's you know, leveling than you would in previous games. You know, before in Vanguard, you'd have to get to level 35 before you had a competent and competitive class setup. You get all these useless attachments that you'd never realistically use on a meta setup, if you will. Now, though, if there are certain meta attachments on an earlier receiver or an earlier weapon family tree gun, you could potentially start out on the Hurricane with a almost near meta build at level 2, level 3, and once you get it to max, you'll have other options elsewhere as well. So it's definitely complicated at first, but once you sort of get the hang of it and you get into understanding it a bit more, which hopefully this video helped you understand it more, it's not as bad and as overwhelming as it may seem initially, but it's certainly very different from what we've seen before. But that being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And again, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post noties, because every day I got you covered with all things going on in Call of Duty. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.